Hi everyone. This is what happened to me when I got government housing part 86. And in this series, I've told you a lot about the way I was treated by the police and the fact that they refused to attend some of my O calls. And I showed you a video of one officer giving me a hard time when I reported an incident, and they attended my home. And we've gone through a few more examples of issues that I've had with them. And unfortunately, in this video, I've got some more information for you all. And it's a typical example of how I'm treated and why I was forced to come forward and tell my story. So you know that I'm still affected by all of this, but I haven't dealt with the police for a while. I haven't bothered. But when I was going through all of this, it was a complete head fuck, knowing how badly I was treated by the police. And now I'm going to tell you about what happened to me on the 13th of the 11th, 2017, which will probably make you guys laugh, but unfortunately for me, it wasn't a laughing matter. It was just one more nail in the coffin, killing any hope that I had of seeing the police as professional or reasonable in any way. So I'll get into it and I'll try to explain as best I can. So on the 13th of the 11th, 2017, the police from Northcote Police Station actually attended the block and rang me and wanted to speak to me because they thought someone's cat was in my backyard. Yes, you heard right. Excuse me, but that wasn't the worst of it. So I'll explain how it went down so you can get some idea of what I went through that night. At around 7 p.m, there was a fight in the backyard of the unit next to mine between two cats. And after that, the residents of Unit 2 started looking into my backyard and bashing on my door. Then I looked outside my side window and there were like residents of the blocks and of this block and other people on the stairs looking into my side yard. And I heard something being thrown into my side yard, but I ignored it because I didn't want to be provoked by them into an argument or anything like that. And then my daughter, who was trying to sleep in her bedroom, came out and told me that she couldn't sleep because people were shining a torch into our backyard. And the fence between the two properties was right near my daughter's bedroom window. So we were both really scared. And I told my daughter to sleep in the lounge room, and we didn't know what to do to stop them. And I felt like they were trying to break into our unit. Like, if you can imagine, like in normal circumstances, if you have people bashing on your door and shining a torch in your backyard and standing on stairs looking into your side yard, that might be scary or annoying. But in our case, it was much worse because of everything that we had been through before, and because I guess I was sensitive to that sort of behaviour given the violence that I'd suffered. So later in the evening, I looked at my phone and I saw that there was a message from the Northcote Police, and I found out that the message was regarding the neighbour's cat, and they wanted to talk to me about it. And I couldn't believe it, and I was disgusted with the police for wanting to talk to me about something so lame. I thought this was one of the stupidest examples of police harassment in history, especially given that they had refused to respond to the issues that I had tried to discuss with them regarding property damage and assaults that I had suffered. My time at the block was full of painful, violent, and sometimes bizarre occurrences But this would have to be one of the worst, mainly because of everything that I had been through leading up to it. The police were willing to respond to a call out about someone's cat being in my backyard, but they didn't want to hear it when I told them that my washing machine had been smashed in, or that the cord on my dryer was cut, or any of the other stuff. I couldn't make sense of anything that was happening to me, and I was emotionally exhausted from all the bullshit that I had to go through because of the police and other public servants. I felt like they would come down on me like a ton of bricks for basically anything. And I wish that they would stop targeting me and just treat me with respect like everyone else. And I know that all of you guys who've been watching all of these videos will understand how infuriating that would be to have the audacity of the police to actually want to speak to me about someone's cat, when there were clearly issues going on at the block which are much more serious than that they weren't dealing with. And there were hundreds of, not hundreds, but like figuratively speaking, hundreds of times when I needed them to do their job, or them to at least like respond in a professional and neutral manner, and they didn't, or for them to take my statement and they didn't, and for them to attend and they didn't, and for them to investigate things and they didn't, and for them to process things and they didn't. And I also think for them to tell me things about the legal process, which they clearly didn't, because to be honest, I'm still in the dark about a lot of that. And as you know, when we get to the end of it and I tell you about my compensation hearing, as you know, my application was refused. So it can also be said that, their duty failure and their failure to communicate things with me that I clearly don't know about the justice system probably contributed to the fact that my application was refused. And I also wish that I could say more about how ridiculous it was that I should have to be holed up in my unit wondering why people were bashing on my door and shining torches into my backyard, when it turned out it was, nothing more than an issue about a cat supposedly being in my backyard. Like, it was it might not sound terrifying, but it was, because as I've said before, the idea that people kept, trying to get into my unit was scary, because I had suffered violence. And also, the other thing that I wanted to emphasize is the way disbelief affects your ability to to trust people, and to continue, as if things were normal, because people kept doing things to me, or saying things to me, or accusing me of things which were basically ridiculous. But then at the same time, they were expecting me to be normal. I was expected to turn up to court and behave like a supposed normal person. And they clearly had an idea of a victim of crime that was normal, and I didn't fit that. And they questioned my mental health. And, excuse me, this is coming from people who wanted to speak to me about someone's cat. And that is beyond belief. That, the same public servants who were accusing me of being mentally ill and so forth. And, eventually, when we get to the hearing, you'll see that they were actually accusing me of lying about the things that happened. And those same people were refusing to listen to my honest reports, and they were choosing to listen to issues about people's cats, and I don't know what to say. I hope you guys understand how that would have affected me, but it was just another incident, and obviously I've got more to go in this series, and I'll keep telling all of you what happened, so please stay with me.